All right, number 6, looking at the question, we want to know basically the critical value that will determine if we would reject the null. Okay, so I'm going to start out by setting up our null and alternative. And we're going to do with either the mean is greater than or less than. Based on the scenario though, I can see that we're going to be dealing with the left-sided test. So this is going to be less than, this is going to be greater or equal to. But let's go through it and verify. So it says manufacturer of banana chips wants to know whether its bag filling machine works correctly at the 449 gram setting. So the actual mean that we want is 449. Alright, it is believed that the machine is underfilling the bag. So this tells us a left-sided test. It's underfilling means it's less than. So we think the mean is actually less than this 449. And the alternative is going to be the opposite. It's going to be greater than or equal to 449. So that puts me in this position. We have a left-sided test, which means whatever my critical value is, it needs to be negative, okay? Because we're on the left side. And you have to be careful with that because the table only shows you the positive values. So we are given a sample size of 23, which is what I really need. And everything else I don't really need because I just need this critical value. Well, there's one more thing, level of significance 0.05. Okay, so 5% of the area is on the left. I need that value. No, it's going to be negative. You got to be careful. Left side less than is negative values. Right side is positive. So I need 5% on the left. My degrees of freedom for my sample size, DF, is going to be 22. It's always one less than your sample size. It's n minus 1. So from here, I actually pulled up the book and the t-table in the back of the book because it's a little bit easier to read. So what you have to do is go to appendix and flip through, and this is way zoomed in so I can't see anything right now. Let me make it bigger. So here we go. Here's our t-table. Let me go back to the top. We wanted 5%, so here's 5% as a decimal, 0.05. And we had 22 degrees of freedom. So I want to go down this column until I see the number 22. Okay. So you see we get 1.717. It's always going to be positive. But as you can see this picture over here, one tail on the right is positive. Left tail you need to put negative. And then if you had both, you would have one on either side. But right now we're dealing with left tail. So we need to make that number negative. So down here at 22 we got 1.717. Okay, so that tells me that my critical value is a negative 1.717. So if I were to compute my actual test statistic from the rest of the data and found out that it was less than this on the other side in this rejection region right here, then we would reject HO. That's what it's asking. You reject the claim that it's more than because it's clearly farther over, it's less than that number here. So the critical value is negative 1.717.